Hello everyone, and thanks for listening to our member recruitment video for the 2021-2022 Homes for All AmeriCorps program year. This video will guide your efforts to successfully recruit and select a candidate to serve as an AmeriCorps member. We'll also talk about the work of our program staff to support you throughout the next few months. Site supervisors are going to benefit the most from watching this, but anybody else at your organization that's involved in recruiting will find this video helpful as well. In this video, we're going to talk about the full recruitment process for getting an AmeriCorps member started. This includes advertising, reviewing applications, interviewing candidates, sending candidates to us, how we interview at HHCK, how we decide on a member, and how we get members started in their service, and we'll end with important dates related to recruitment and training. We wanted to give a quick overview of AmeriCorps so that we're all on the same page. Before we continue. Homes for All is the name of our AmeriCorps program, and we have two types of members. We're funded from the federal agency now known as AmeriCorps, and the goal of our program is to increase access to and provide housing-related services. Your organization is our service site, and you're responsible for hosting AmeriCorps members at your organization, and those members will provide direct services to individuals and families. The majority of our AmeriCorps members are full-time 1,700-hour individuals that are fulfilling a one-year commitment to service. Our program year starts on August 1st, and it gives members until July 31st of 2022 to complete their hours. As we emphasized in the site application, members are expected to complete their hour requirement as it ensures their eligibility for their education award and future service term if they're interested. And it also means that the site is successful in retaining their members, which helps us fulfill our grant requirements so we can continue offering this program. In exchange for their service, members receive a modest living allowance that's provided by HHCK, an education award upon completion of service, reduced education costs from student loan forbearance and student loan interest payments. We provide health insurance to full-time members. Members whose household is income eligible can receive child care assistance. And then members receive training and professional and personal development, not only from our program, but from your organization as the service site. We also wanted to share a refresher on common terms you'll hear throughout this video. So the first is the AmeriCorps member. This is the person that's placed at your organization to provide the direct services. They're not considered an employee, staff person, or volunteer, so you don't want to refer to them as that. They are members. AmeriCorps is also always spelled with a capital C and has an S on the end. It's pronounced AmeriCorps, like Corps of the Earth or Marine Corps. A service site is your agency. Your member is placed at your site to provide those direct services. Members do also serve some hours with us for training, service projects, and other events during the year. The member position descriptions provide the guidance on the only allowable activities your members can provide at your site. Your site application was reviewed and approved, and it included the position description. Members cannot receive hours for activities conducted that were not included on the position description or are not considered to be part of our program model. We may be able to make some changes throughout the year, but those changes must be requested in advance before the members do hours for activities that aren't eligible. The site supervisor is the individual that should stay in communication with our staff and is responsible for the on-site supervision. This person also works to support and mentor the member over the course of the year. Bringing on an AmeriCorps member starts with recruiting. All of the content in this video is included with the Member Recruitment Packet, which is a PDF that we released today. It's available on our website as well. After reviewing both the PDF and this video, we kindly ask that advertising for the AmeriCorps position begins as soon as possible. Waiting to recruit for a member can lead to delays in the member start date, which is something we want to avoid. Recruiting and onboarding is a process that we work with you on. There are responsibilities of our staff as well as yours. To start, you should begin recruiting by following the plan you shared with us in your service site application. You can supplement your listings by providing a candidate with a brochure that we designed. You can also provide a brochure or handout with your information that your organization designs. We kindly ask that you include the AmeriCorps logo. We suggest advertising on a number of different channels. We also encourage sites to ask their board members and volunteers to share the position with their networks. Our program will post recruitment notices on My AmeriCorps, Service Year, Handshake, Kentucky Nonprofit Network, our website, and any other relevant job boards. Our listings are going to be pretty general, so we recommend using the same channels if available to you. If you did ask us to post a specific listing in your site application, we will definitely do that. And if you didn't sign up but you want us to, please email us directly so we can get that taken care of. This is a bare bones list of things we need to see in all of your organization's advertisements. When listing your AmeriCorps position, please refer to it as a service position rather than a job. Again, AmeriCorps is not employment. Applicants who are really looking for a job as opposed to service are not as likely to complete the program because they're not as motivated by a desire to serve. Of course, you're going to want to list the start date and include that the position ends July 31st of next year. You'll want to include whether the position is 1,700 hours or 900 hours. You should include the benefits, and at the very least, include the amount of the living allowance and the education award. Other information to give potential applicants is information on how to apply. Other items that are going to strengthen your recruiting efforts include when you add site-specific selling points, such as professional development or training opportunities. We do seek to work with organizations that understand national service as a chance to encourage active citizenship and community involvement. People may be drawn to the idea of making a difference just as much as they might see AmeriCorps as a career development or employment opportunity. We always encourage sites to consider out-of-the-box candidates, since national service is not just for early Again, our website has a number of resources available to you, so we included a screenshot to show you exactly where to find them. When you go to our website, you'll click on the Homes for All AmeriCorps tab and then scroll down to the Partner Site and Supervisor Resources. The member recruitment guidance is on there. You'll see the AmeriCorps member brochure, our logo that you'll use in your recruitment listing, and the link to the stock photos that you could use in your flyers or your brochures. Our organization believes it's really important for sites to take an active role in recruiting and considering a member so you can find someone that's going to fit in well with the culture and dynamics of your organization. As applications come in or you receive resumes, you'll want to set up interviews with promising candidates. If you haven't at this point, as you've talked to applicants, we recommend providing a copy of the AmeriCorps member brochure. And if you haven't received any promising candidates by late June, let us know so we can help more directly. Staying in communication with our staff and letting us know what's going on is key to a successful placement. Our staff is responsible for screening applications that we receive directly. We'll send any eligible candidates to you for your consideration. For example, if an applicant tells us they're not willing to serve a one-year term, they're just not going to be a good fit for the program. The resources on our website for potential applicants help inform people of the AmeriCorps service year and help screen out candidates that aren't really suited for a year in service. Again, if you experience challenges with recruiting after our suggestions and guidance, we'll start to ramp up our efforts directly for your site. When you're looking at applications and deciding who to interview, you'll of course want to review their experience and skills. But you want to think about what's really needed to be successful versus what would be ideal. So does the member really need a master's degree in social work and 5 years of case management, or do they have the basic skills and willingness to get the job done? In any listing, we ask that you make sure you're avoiding any unconscious biases like the typical must be able to lift 25 pounds or sit or stand for a long period of time, and try to use language such as transport, 25 pounds, or be in a stationary position for a long period of time. Consider what the applicant's expectations are. Again, are they looking for the job? Because this isn't that. Again, you want to make sure you aren't setting your expectations unreasonably high. You definitely want someone that's committed and willing, but if you go into this understanding you're not going to have someone necessarily with decades of experience, you'll understand that that's okay. Supporting the idea of national service as a development opportunity is going to help you successfully review applicants. You'll definitely find more tips and guidance in that member recruitment packet, the PDF that we've talked about. Members serve in a challenging field with our program, and in exchange they receive a very modest living allowance. It's an enriching experience for those who embrace it, but it's important to make sure candidates have a realistic view of what they're committing to. During our interviews, organizations should pay special attention to the type of language they use when meeting with candidates. Keep in mind that members should be referred to as Housing Services AmeriCorps members or Construction AmeriCorps members, and you should use National Service specific language so that the candidate can distinguish between employment and AmeriCorps. You want to ask a variety of questions, but you also need to include questions from the Member Recommendation Form, which is a form in the Member Recruitment Packet, and it's on the resources page on our website. These questions help assess whether an applicant meets the basic requirements of AmeriCorps and would be a good fit for the program, not just for your site. Responses to these questions will need to be recorded and sent to our staff when you're recommending someone for the position. We strongly encourage you to include the approved AmeriCorps member position description in your interview. This document is so helpful to the service here and will help bring even more detail to the person considering the position. It's helpful to be upfront and frank about the schedule that the member will need to serve and any travel requirements. It also helps to start the conversation about programs, expectations, and requirements. We're going to review those multiple times with the members, especially if we screen them first, but it really goes a long way when you, as the site, support those open For any promising candidates that you're interviewing and that you think you'll plan to recommend to our staff, you'll want to explain the need to complete the My AmeriCorps application if they haven't already done so, because if they're selected to serve, they're going to need to do this anyways. You can provide them with the instructions that are found on our website. You should also share that interviewing with you is the first of many steps they'll need to go through, and explain that starting service is a multi-step process. If we haven't already said this enough in this video, we suggest providing a copy of the AmeriCorps position descriptions, our brochure, and instructions for applying on My AmeriCorps. If you are a site that has a current member considering to return for another year of service, please know that it's a joint decision made between the member, your site, and our program. While the member's knowledge and experience can be a huge asset, sites that experience challenges with the member during their year of service or have reservations about another year of service usually find that those issues with the members tend to get worse during the next service term. AmeriCorps has a limit of 4 terms per individual, but an individual can only receive 2 full education awards. We really only allow members to return for another year of service that have represented AmeriCorps well and have been an active participant throughout service. This means that they completed their hours, they stayed up to date with their timesheets, program trainings, performance measure reporting, they stayed in communication with our staff, they were responsive, and they met all other member expectations. So if a member has been really great for you, but not as active on the AmeriCorps side of things, it is likely we will not approve them to be placed again. When you're ready to recommend a candidate or two, you'll complete a member recommendation form because you will have asked those questions in the interview. That form includes the candidate's name and contact information, and you'll send that to us after you're ready to recommend them. We recommend nominating multiple candidates if possible, but only candidates that you would be willing to host at your site. So if you interviewed someone but you don't think they'd be a good fit, don't send them to us. Candidates could drop out for whatever reason at any time in the process, which could leave you in the bind, which is why we do suggest trying to recommend multiple people. Some candidates also might be a really great fit for you, but they're not willing to meet any of the requirements of the AmeriCorps program. Your organization might have also recruited a strong candidate that isn't a great fit for you, But we still ask that you share that with us, even if you're not recommending them, because they could be a great asset at another one of our service sites. As soon as you have candidates, you'll need to send this information to our staff as soon as possible. We push the recruitment deadline for you as close to the start of the program year as we can, but it's extremely advised that you find and select candidates as quickly as possible. We're asking that you recommend candidates to us by July 15th. We will accept recommendations after that, but we ask you to understand that may affect the start date, which shortens the length of time they have to serve hours. Our staff will interview all candidates recommended for placement over the phone or virtually due to COVID-19 restrictions and safety precautions. An interview gives us the chance to get to know candidates, assess their ability to serve, and we're able to paint a larger picture of national service. We do reserve the right to decline a recommended candidate if we have concerns. If we sent the applicant to you, it means they were pre-screened and approved on our end, so at that point we would move directly to paperwork and background checks. When we are screening candidates before we send them to you, we'll check references in their AmeriCorps application. And if it's not someone we sent to you, it's someone that you sent to us, while we interview them, we'll also check their references. Your site can request references directly from the candidate, or we can provide a copy of the completed references upon request. If your organization only recommends one candidate and you do not express any hesitation about them serving, we'll assume that you want the candidate to fill the slot. So if they meet all eligibility requirements, we'll then start the enrollment paperwork and background check process just to speed things up. If you only have one candidate but you're not sure about them, please say that to us before we interview them so we don't start paperwork with them if we don't need to. If your organization gives us multiple recommendations, we'll offer our feedback and leave the decision with you to select the candidate you want to serve. You'll then notify the candidate and our staff so that we can start paperwork with them. Background checks may be delayed due to COVID restrictions. We also have new regulations from the Federal AmeriCorps agency and how we can conduct checks, and that may affect some of our more rural sites that don't have close access to one of our FBI locations. So we want to capture the consent to conduct checks as soon as possible so we can get the member cleared. We'll also be either mailing paperwork for members who don't have access to a printer, or we'll send an electronic copy through DocuSign for them to fill out and digitally sign. If your site is able to, and we don't require this, but if you can go ahead and print the paperwork packet and help the member fill it out so that you can send that to us and we can get started on paperwork. As we've said in this video, getting a member started in their AmeriCorps service has a lot of steps to it. After we initiate the background check process, candidates have to undergo what's called pre-enrollment in the AmeriCorps system, and that can take up to 5 days to turn around. It's important for the candidate to be checking emails and responding to anything we send them in a timely fashion. Our staff is here to walk candidates through the entire process, and we will work with them through every step of the way, but we do want to explain to you what we're required to do, since AmeriCorps is a federal grant, and it's not as easy as just telling us who you want and then they can start. When a member is clear to start service though, we'll send you written confirmation to submit a start date. This is because we have only so many days to finish enrolling the member in AmeriCorps after their start. The member start date has to match the first day that they log hours. I cannot emphasize that enough. If a member starts serving hours before the start date, they won't be able to count their hours. And if we decide on a start date, but then something comes up and you say the member can start later, or the member says they need to start later, but you don't tell us that, then we have logged the incorrect information, and then the start date doesn't match the first day they log hours, and then that's a compliance issue with our grant. So we want to avoid all that. And if we give you the start date and we all agree on it, that's the date the member should show up on site and start serving hours. Here are a few important dates for you to keep in mind. The first is July 15th. This is our preferred date for you to recommend a member to us. You can refer a member after that date, but it's really helpful if we get the nominations by July 15th so that we have time to get the members started by August 1st. Site supervisor trainings are on July 21st or 22nd. You don't have to attend both, just one. If you are not available to attend site supervisor training, someone else that works closely with your AmeriCorps member will need to participate. The program year starts on Sunday, August 1st, so most, if not all of our members will not start their service year until Monday, August 2nd. August 2nd through the 18th is our program orientation and training period. We'll have various sessions that new and returning members will need to participate in. A portion of these sessions will be pre-recorded videos for members to watch and complete at their own pace, while some of them will be live sessions that require them to be available and participating in at a certain time. We'll have a schedule of these sessions by site supervisor training, so you can plan your organization's orientation around them. We are assessing the feasibility of some in-person events so members can network and get to know each other, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on that. September 15th is the date that your site contribution is due. Your site will be invoiced for this and the membership fee in August, whether you have filled your slot or not. If you need to make payments, we do offer a quarterly payment plan. September 15th is the last day that we are willing to start full-time members, since it can be really difficult for members to serve 1,700 hours in 10.5 months, as opposed to 1,700 hours in 12 months. I really want to emphasize that the most ideal start is on or around August 2nd or up to August 16th, and every effort should be made by sites to recruit a member and so we can get them started before the AmeriCorps orientation. I only mention the September date in case it comes down to it, since we do want all service sites to have members. Members that are not able to participate in AmeriCorps orientation do not get the full picture of their service year and often feel disconnected throughout their service. Friendly reminder that if your site decides it's no longer interested in hosting an AmeriCorps member, please let us know immediately so we can contact organizations on our waiting list. We hope this video was helpful for you if you're a new site or if you were a returning site, and we hope it explains how the next few months are going to look. If you have any questions that weren't answered in this video or you can't find the answer in our member recruitment packet, please just reach out to me or Holly. Holly's our member coordinator. We're really looking forward to a great program year and working with your organization to get things done for Kentuckians.